Welcome back. My name's Chris, and this week I've got a rhythm workout video for you. I promised this from my last lesson on rhythm, and I really do think this is so important that we should kind of work on this together, and I'll show you what I do on how to deepen my rhythmic feel. If you are just wanting to get better at rhythm in general, you'll benefit from this, even beginner level to advanced. I think this is a really blind spot, a really big blind spot for many people. So I'm going to try to give you some tips and tricks and things that have helped me out. My first exercise for you today is going to involve just playing a C major scale. Simple enough, hopefully. I'm hoping you might know that already, but if you don't, you can probably learn it here. On guitar and on piano, you play along with me as well. Any instrument, again, we're going to play it very slowly. I'm going to start at actually, I think about 50 BPM on the metronome. And I'll say a note real quick about metronomes. There are so many you can use. I'm on Metronome Online right now. I really dig Pro Metronome, which is an app. I think works on any phone, and their Pro version is like just a few bucks, and it's worth it to me. It's a great app. So it's important, I think, on a metronome to have the ability to accent beats, so you can maybe hear the first beat of every measure, and also to mute beats, which can be a great tool for deepening that feel. So it doesn't matter, but have a metronome that you like. Get used to using it. And again, this will strengthen everything. I'll kind of explain why these exercises are so important while we play them. But it will help your sense of time in general. And it's also a great way to organize your practicing. So here we go with exercise 1, 50 BPM, C major scale, half notes. Okay, so very slow. And here's our click here. Again, you can play any instrument. I'm just going to play up and down, and I'm going to kind of keep on repeating one octave, okay? So here we go. Let's give it a shot, and I'll talk about why we want to do this while we play. So ready? Kind of a good practice to actually listen to me, and a good practice for me to talk while I play this, because the point of this first exercise is to get the self-control and build up self-control to play slowly, right? So this is a good way to do this. Obviously play scales on your instrument. You can tag information that's really relevant for you as a musician. While you do this, you could say, oh, this is F. This is the 4 of the scale, the 3. I could sing the notes, right? 2, 1. I'm just going to go back up. Okay? The main reason, though, is I think the self-control and the ability to play slowly and correctly, accurately, is really a defining trait that successful musicians learn and non-successful musicians don't, right? Because if you go too fast and you're trying to learn exact things, you're just shooting yourself in the leg, right? By messing up a lot. So if I'm trying to play this, the first time I play this real fast, if that's my goal, there's no way I'll be able to do it, right? It's just unfamiliar, way too unfamiliar. So we have to just go slow. And this is a muscle you have to flex, this ability to play slowly. It is incredibly transformative, though, because if I play a C major scale slowly like that, I can play accurately so much easier. And before I know it, I am able to easily and accurately and automatically play that. And I don't have to attend to it at all. It's kind of, I front-loaded my attention. So I played it very slowly. All right, let's say I'm working on an arpeggio or something that's kind of weird shape that I've never played. So if I'm going like that, and if I really want to play like a lot faster, right, I'm not going to be able to bake it in. So the slower and more accurately you play, the quicker it will actually go. And you are developing this very consistent relationship to the guitar or to the piano or whatever you do that is not an afterthought. It's not hurried. I find our ego just wants to go way too quick. We just want to eat the thing. We want to be able to play the piece, right? Or whatever it is. But we need to go very slowly. This is great advice, too, on exact pieces of music. So very specific things you're trying to do. Or improvising. If you're trying to work on improvisation, improvise slowly, right? Just make it easy. So this will be related to my second exercise, but you will play different stuff if you go slowly and you're working on improvisation. If you cut the tempo in half, you'll play much differently and new things. And then there's a spectrum there. And then on exact pieces, let's say I'm working on this tune that I can't play anymore, but it's called Donna Lee. So it's real quick jazz tune, and I can't play it. But it's the first parts of my fingers. But if I wanted to actually get that back in my fingers, I'd have to go like this. I want to go probably, let's say, here's a good target tempo. 192, 200. That's actually kind of slow for that tune, but right, that'd be a good feel there for sure. But what does 50 feel like? This is really slow. And honestly, not too slow to really review the piece. Because if I can play it at that speed, there's this weird, it's like so hard to do, right? It's like I want to go quicker and I can go a little quicker. But if I can play it at that speed, it's actually very simple to play. My body is playing more automatically and instinctually, and the muscle memory is working, right? I'm also training future muscle memory. So I'm also, there's just so much to it. Like the hard parts will get easier, of course, and everything's going to be really consistent. I mean, there's just a million reasons, right? So this is a powerful way to play. And this even works from strumming, whatever level you're at. Try to just play slowly and actually work on the thing you're trying to work on, and not just go as fast as possible where we're just trying to play and practice and kind of play what we can't play yet instead of actually playing it correctly, right? So the harder the music, the harder the techniques or skills or information, the more abstract, the more musical, the more advanced, the more this is important, right? So this is a muscle we have to really strengthen. And I know many advanced musicians can even strengthen this. I guess I consider myself an advanced musician in some ways, and I can strengthen this muscle because I want to be able to play the thing too. And I go way, way too quick. I brush over things quickly. I have to undo a lot of bad habits and incorrect takes and incorrect notes, right? So instead of just going slowly and doing it the right way, right? It's really transformative. So that's my first exercise in general. Play slow, very, very slow. Use that to tag information. Use that to teach your body exactly how it goes. Show it exactly where the notes are. If I'm on piano, if I was playing this, one more example here. Can't play this either. Well, actually, I did play the other night. I need to record this. So the Arabesque Debussy, beautiful piece of music. I can somewhat play it. And I mean, I can play the notes, making it musical and beautiful. And what I hear in my head is another story. But it goes about that speed. And they're triplets. So that's the ballpark of people's interpretations usually. So let's say I start it like this. And I make myself sit here and sit through this experience of playing this piece. I let my ears hear the notes. And I know this is really hard, right? It might even take one measure at a time because our muscle memory is often, when we're not like as honest as we want to be rhythmically, I think our muscle memory is a little bit more biased towards a certain tempo, towards like the only tempo we've practiced it at, which is kind of way too fast usually. So we kind of want to be able to, when we first learn the piece, if I were to learn this first measure like this, and I can double check the notes are right before I play the rhythm, but I'm getting this like it's a slowed down version of the final, and I'm not kind of going, okay, this is often how practice sounds, right? And I'm guilty of this too. There's just a lot of quick firing. There's a lot of non-careful practice, right? Non-considered practice. So we just want to be deliberate and say, what am I working on? I want to play this first measure. I might even play just, 2 beats, 1 beat in time. You can always make a smaller thing. But the more you feed yourself the correct information, because you're playing slowly, because you have the self-control, the more you will be able to replicate this at a high level. I've heard this countless times. The pros, right before a giant performance, practice their stuff like half speed. I've heard that from multiple musicians, and to me, it's such a telling habit of they know what's up, right? And then that might go from like the stuff like that, the Mozart, there's a bunch of, 16th notes in there. And so, or let's say it's I don't know, a blues player or something. Just be able to play through the changes very slowly. And the more exact the music, the more this is important. But I do think it's a ability that improvisers need too, and people who want a general good command of rhythm. You really need to exercise this ability to control yourself and stay restrained and slow. And I've heard this before, and I wrote this down. But I love this framing of where speed comes from, because we often think that's why you use a metronome to play faster, which is, somewhat true sometimes. But speed comes from playing smoothly, and playing smoothly comes from playing accurately, and playing accurately comes from playing slowly. So you can only play fast if you can play slow, right? So there's this cool causal kind of thing that happens. When you play slowly, you start to get accurate. You can actually play the right notes consistently. You show your body how it goes. Then from that, you can get smooth because it's more familiar and it's always going the same way. You're not making kind of easy mistakes that you shouldn't make. And finally, the speed will just flow from that. It will automatically kind of get faster. And of course, you can nudge it up. But our main goal should be accuracy over speed, right? And smoothness over that as well. So exercise 2. I'm going to call this the rhythm pyramid. I was messing with a few different names, but this is not a new idea, but basically we're going to be working with playing subdivisions, the quarter note, different subdivisions, and these are, of course, are different smaller notes like eighth notes, triplets, sixteenths, so on and so forth. So I like to think of this, though, more like we're just dividing the quarter note into different parts, right? So I can divide it into 2 parts, which would be eighth notes, or 3, which are triplets. You get the idea. 4 notes would be 16th notes, 5 would be 5-tuplets, quintuplets, 6 would be sextuplets. So it's just this beautiful like pyramid that goes down, and it gets quicker and quicker. Really, 1 division, which is just a quarter note, to 8, that's a good amount to be able to play here. And that's on the more advanced side to play all those subdivisions. But I'll demonstrate this really quick. Let's just use a C note now. Of course, you could do this with a scale, but this is 50 still. Maybe a little quicker, maybe 60. I love these like slow tempos, like under 60. Some of the best metronome settings down there. Okay, so here's a C. What we're gonna do is just start with just a C note. Oops, drop my pick. Get that going. And then eighth notes. And in general, with 1 note, this is very simple. And you could even play the scale over this. You could play, C major scale, but I'll just stay on 1 note, and that will sound good if you play a scale too. But the goal here is to be able to slice this thing up and work on the feel of a certain thing, right? So if it's like, do I know the C major scale? Can I play it with eighth notes? If I can't play it with eighth notes of 60, can I play it at eighth notes of 50? Can I feel eighth notes of 50? Right? Can I work on a certain thing? Right? Can I really fill the beat up? So start this slow, but a really magical thing happens when you can play at these different divisions, especially 1 through 4, because that will actually cover about any strumming you would do for any pop or folk or whatever tune, rock rhythms. That covers most things. I'll show you some examples of like 80 with strumming. So let's say I was playing a C chord. Can I feel eighth notes? Can I comp? That's a jazz term, but can I play chords on the keys or on the piano? You feel that resistance that happens only at 80 BPM and eighth notes. There's a certain amount, a certain feel, and certain vibe that's got to be real flexible. I might do alternate. Maybe it's playing separate notes. Maybe it's playing a scale, of course. Maybe it's improvising in a scale. Maybe it's a combination of quarters and eighth. Right, that's kind of cool to do. So lots of ways to do that too. Find a tempo, maybe around 60, that you can mess with something at quarters, eighths, triplets, sixteens, because eighths to triplets are going to feel weird. Let's just try, here's some eighths, we'll just back on 1 note. You could do a scale again if you want. right, this is 60, not too bad. Here's to go into triplets. Ready? Triplet. Oh, I messed. Ugh. That first one was really out of time. Let's try that again. We'll go back to eighth notes. You want to be able to switch between these. You could use alternate on the guitar, alternate picking. Here's triplets, and you could do all down on the guitar. It's kind of weird on guitar picking, or down, up, down, down, up, down. That one's a cool one. Or all down, or alternate. Now 16s. Here, coming up. Ready, and. So 16s are going to feel like eighth notes, right? Doubled. That's a duple, and then triple. Anything based on 3 is triplet. So, or triple rhythm. So the six notes per beat would be in the triplet feel, but we want to be able to switch gears, right? Very easily. And this goes for strumming too, or playing chords. Let's say I'm playing here and I'm playing eighth notes, and then triplets. See. Can I play chords? Can I play, what would I play here? Or maybe, right, I can split up chords, but I'm in that flow, right? 16s. Back to triplets. Boom, 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 boom. Eighth notes. Eighth notes are really chill there. So we're just trying to flex this muscle and get between different rhythms, right? I love this exercise when you play it from 1 all the way to 8. So you have to kind of go slow enough where 8 notes per beat is possible, or even on strumming. So that's kind of quick. But we have all these in-between things, right? And sometimes I'll even go down to like a lot slower, let's say 40. Let's briefly try it all 8 rhythms and see how we do. This would be fun. I'm just going to play C again. You could play C major scale, anything you want to. Harmonize with me here. So here we go. 1 through 8, and I'll just say when to switch. So here's 1, just quarter note. You have to really get your body to slow down, right? Like all the cells in your body have to slow down and feel comfortable at a slow tempo like this. Okay, 8th note. You could play scale. Anything you want. That's the cool thing about timing, right? Anything you're working on. Arpeggios, chords, intervals. Triplet. Ready. The 2 to 3 and 3 to 4 is weird. Okay, now 3 to 4. Ready. And. I'm trying to do this as automatically as possible too and not overthink it, right? It's a feel thing. I'm trusting my ear, trusting my body to be able to play the right thing because I've done this before. But that's how to think of this, right? Don't think of, oh, I'm trying to hear it. And I'm matching up my physical thing with my physical motion with the time. So in this case, using alternate picking on guitar, right, I'm just getting the flow and really feeling the full beat. So here's 5. Ready, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you've never done these before, if you play alternate picking on guitar, it should be down, up, down, up, down, up. Right, just feeling that even feel. These are really cool. I'm still working on my feel on these. And then playing scales is really cool, right? Or even groups of 5. Or how about triads? What if we did... oh, that's hard. 5-note skip and then... it'd be that. Anyways, now I'm practicing. That's what I should work on. Right? I'm playing kind of 7th chords or 9 chords in the key alternating. So 5s are weird. Back to on 5. Now we're going to go to 6 here. So this should be now down, 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 up, down, up, down, up, down, down. Right, it's just a triplet doubled. Again, a feel thing, right? It's like your brain and your ear and your hand motion. Everything should line up. Right, and just improvising on one of these is really cool too. You can feel rhythms that feel good like that. Just feel, right? We're just trying to get lost in that feeling. Now I'm going to go back to just one note, and here's 7. And 7 is weird, right? But we just think a little faster. Let's see. But I'll show you how I feel 7, just as a little cheat thing. You want to feel kind of a grouping of 7, which is usually 2-2-3 or 3-2-2 or some version of those 3 numbers. So meaning bum bum ba da da dun dun dun. So I'm trying to find this grouping. So 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2. Right, that's a feel thing. Again, a feel thing. This is a feel thing. It's not intellectual. It's a feel thing. Bum bum ba da do dum dum da. Not used a bunch in pop, right? But used in other things, jazz, classical. I had this piece in college. I played on drums in 7, 8, and 4/4 alternating. Really tough because it felt like every other measure was kind of on the wrong foot. It wasn't in like a groove. I mean, I guess it was in like a 2-bar groove. But anyway, so here we go. Here's 7. Now we feel that. So I'm kind of using that as a thing, and you could use on the guitar down, up. You could even think down, 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 up. Down, 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 up, 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 down, 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 up, up, up. Or just stick with this a little bit. You can play a scale in this. Isn't that cool? Or any grouping of these. So get creative here. That feel good? I love 7. I need to work on it more. Okay, so that's 7. And now 8. Let's get 7 going again. 8's going to be, right, just 4 downs on the guitar. It's like these are 16s doubled. Right, and you're not going to usually have to go from a 7 rhythm to an 8 rhythm. So you can make this as hard as possible, or hard or as easy as possible as you want. That's what I meant to say. The main point here is that we can flex this muscle, and we're actually thinking in this holistic way of like, can I play these rhythms? If I'm really serious about rhythm in general and playing well, can I match these rhythms with some integrity and just get to feeling them, right? This is like the macro way to practice, meaning like we're not practicing specific parts of music. It's more like I want to deepen my triplet feel, so that way when I go to see triplets in a piece, or I need to play triplets in a solo, they feel good, right? I'm just going to be prepared for that. And also, the more we can kind of deepen this thing, you're going to find one thing leads to another, and it's like I already learned what to practice. That was helpful for me to see. Oh, I can't play that. So it kind of leads from one thing to another, right? So it's cool. So, okay, I'll be back next week with maybe one more rhythm video. I wanted 4 exercises in this video, and I realized that 2 were plenty because there's a lot of nuance to these, and I hope you picked up some of this and some things you can be working on your own, right? These things are going to bring out the teacher in your head. That's the goal. I like that analogy a lot. Like there's a teacher in all of our heads, and we have to find it, and that's the smarter part of us that knows intuitively, oh yeah, you should be working on this. And of course, none of this matters, but it is fun, right? It's fun to build this long-term skill And I think it's really edifying. And our musical study will really benefit. Everything that we play, our feel will benefit. It's just incredible how in-depth this goes into all the parts of music. So until next time, I'll be back with 2 more exercises then. I hope you can work on this slowing music down in general and the rhythm pyramid idea of dividing 1 through 8 on one note. Okay? So I'll see you next time. Thanks.